I'm back on it. It's been a little bit. I've been taking it a little bit easy since I did the 248-mile run. Not one run, but the multiple. I think it was December. I ran the 248 miles, which was supposed to be 200 miles, but things happen. I get a little crazy, and I went ahead and I ran 248 miles. On top of that, these past 3 weeks, I've kind of been a little bit shaky on what I've been consuming. I've been kind of going balls to the wall during the weekend and on Wednesdays, and I've been eating a lot of pizza, a lot of what else? A lot of chocolates, a lot of yogurts, a lot of frozen yogurts. I've definitely been consuming a large amount of carbohydrates. I went ahead and naturally put on about 10 pounds of weight, which is something that I can do without even thinking about it. It's the easiest. Me putting on weight is the equivalent of baby drooling. Like it takes no effort. It just happens naturally. I can just look at food and I'll put on weight. It's the most frustrating thing in the world, but I think I would rather have it that way than the other way, because to me losing weight is so much easier than I perceive losing weight as easier than gaining weight, because when you're trying to gain weight, if you're somebody who struggles putting on weight, you have to force yourself to eat. Whereas if you're trying to lose weight, you have to stop eating, which seems a lot more psychologically enabling, seems a lot easier to do, rather than the other option, which is I'm full, but I need to keep eating because I want to get to 200 pounds. Like I 200 pounds for me is that's not. I mean, I can if if you just put me if I didn't worry about eating, right? If I wasn't focusing on what I was eating, if I wasn't counting my calories, which I don't do anymore, which is something I finally stopped doing, which makes me feel so much better. But if I was just somebody who if I just stopped worrying about dieting or losing weight or putting on weight, I would get up to 200 pounds without even thinking about it. I'm about 6 feet tall. I have a wider stature. I think I'm a little bit. I think I'm built like what are they? Three body types. My watch is talking to me. There's three body types. There is the mesomorph. There we go. Ectomorph, mesomorph, endomorph. I think I definitely fall into the endomorph category. So I have a very. Let me look. Let me see what I got here. Okay, let's zoom into this thing. How do I zoom in? Okay, I can't zoom in. But so there is ectomorph, which is skinny, just like a skinny person, skinny legs, skinny, looks like a skinny shoulders, skinny waist. There's the endomorph, which looks like a pear, right? Like a pear shaped, like it's skinny up top, kind of what happens when your legs cave in when you don't eat enough potassium? Caving in legs, you know what I mean? When people got the going on in their legs. Bow-legged, and then the mesomorph looks like more of a muscular person. I think I'm naturally a mesomorph. Had sex with an endomorph. That's what I look like, because my backside looks like an endomorph. Like my butt definitely has the shape of an endomorph. My stomach kind of has the shape of an endomorph, but my shoulders and my calves look like a mesomorph. I think. I don't know. Definitely not an estomorph. I can or ectomorph. I can go ahead and put that away. I will never be an ectomorph. My body just won't ever allow me to get to an ectomorph. But definitely, like I'm like a I'm like the middle part of my body is endomorph. My top 10% of my body, the bottom 10% of my body is a mesomorph. Yeah, that's what I think I am. That's what I'm gonna go with. Anyways, I would just get on 200 pounds, but like that's what I've been doing like these past like been a solid months. February, I kind of loosened up a little bit on. It's like people walking around my front yard. I kind of like loosened up on my diet mid-January a little bit. I think I got down to like 187, 188. I wasn't trying to lose weight. I was just running. I did, 248 miles is going to burn a lot of calories. So I was just running a lot. I was running outside a lot. And I was a carnivore. I was obviously carnivore. Lower carbohydrate, pretty much zero carbohydrates a day, just high protein. And honestly, I think I was in the best shape of my life. Not just like physically, like appearance wise, like I looked really strong, but like the way I felt like mentally, it just really, I felt like I could key in on a lot of things. And then school came around. Once school came around, that's when I kind of fell off the diet a little bit, started stress eating a little bit, which is something that I deal with. I'm sure a lot of people deal with the similar thing. It's not unique to me. I'm definitely a stress eater, but I think a lot of people are stress eaters. And like for me, when I'm putting on a lot of weight, it's because I'm under a lot of stress. And if I'm losing a lot of weight, it's also because I'm under a lot of stress. If I'm like moderately healthy, I'm usually because diets give me something to do, and I can really focus. I'm like a dog with a ball. You play fetch with me, and I can focus on it, and I have a mission. But yeah, like middle to late January, I kind of fell off the wagon a little bit. I was putting on weight. I got up to like, there was never a day where I woke up and I weighed in at 200 plus pounds, but there was times where I was weighing in maybe like once or twice where I was 200 pounds at the end of the day with clothing on. And then I was consistently waking up around 196 to 198. So this past week, I kind of cleaned up my diet a little bit. These past 2 weeks, I've cleaned up my diet. I had one day where I had a decent amount of carbs. But right now I'm kind of in a nice place where I'm not carnivore, right? Like for breakfast, I just had 3 eggs, chorizo sausage, about a cup of cheese, maybe a cup and a half of cheese, but like a lot of cheese and an avocado and some Old Bay hot sauce. Like yesterday I had chicken wings, a jerk sauce flavored chicken wings with like 2 cups of blue cheese, not like full cups, but like 2 little, I guess like not even 8 ounces, probably 2 4-ounce things of blue cheese. And then for dinner, I had like pork chops with a little bit of Italian dressing and like an all seasoned salt thing, and a few pieces of chocolate here and there. But like that's not carnivore. That's just low carbs, and I'm feeling good, right? And I think what I'm going to continue to do up until summer, because I want to go into the summer looking decent. It's so funny. I've been doing this podcast long enough where if you guys go back to like a February, March episode, I'm probably talking about the similar things. But anyways, I want to keep it just keto friendly, low carb friendly for a lot of reasons. One reason, I feel so much more confident about myself. I feel smarter. I feel like I'm on top of my game better. And when I feel confident, I feel smarter, I perform better. A lot of things with a healthy diet is not about the physical changes to your body, but it's about the tender mental love that you give to yourself, like and the emotional care you give to yourself. There's something about taking care of your body that also translate into a healthier mental state, a healthier emotional state. It's like if you put like really bad, can't curse anymore on YouTube. I'm trying to eliminate cursing pretty much 100% from the podcast so I can grow the YouTube channel better, because videos do better when there's less cursing. Anyways, especially like in the first 5 minutes of the video. But when you have a car and you put, like, if you just put cheap gas into it, like really bad gas, you don't take care of it, you don't get your oil change, which I do have to get my oil change very soon. You're going to see your car affected, right? It's not going to perform as well. It's not going to drive as well. It may not get the same amount of miles per gallon that it would have if you fed it the right fuel. It would still work. It would still get you A to B, but the A to B would feel like a crawl rather than like a nice, easy, like you're floating on water kind of climb to get to where you need to go. And I'm kind of looking at that with like the diet right now. Like I'm trying to just feel better. I feel more mentally locked in. I can tell the podcast is already going better. If you watch like the last, 4, 6, 8 podcasts, it's not that the bad, which I mean, I'm sure some of them are bad, because I think I think all my podcasts suck because I don't like any of the work I do, which is maybe that's for a different podcast, but I don't think so. I think I never am proud with anything I do. It's what's it? It starts with a P. forget the crap. Bert Kreischer was talking about it, but you're never proud of what you accomplish. Like it's very rare where I go back, where I sit back, I'm like, you did a good job, Mike. I'm constantly taking what I did, ripping it apart, and realizing it wasn't. I don't congratulate myself on anything that I do, and that's why I think like I I I hate to admit this. It's taken me a long time to admit it. Like literally up until the last year, I wouldn't have admitted it to people. But I'm somebody who I almost need, and you can ask Taylor this if you see her, but I'm somebody who thrives off of compliments, and it sucks. Like I don't want to be that person. It just feels weak. But like compliments for me are like another. They're like a boost of energy. They're like doing a line of coke, like a line of cocaine. And I've never done cocaine. So if any of my future employers are watching this, I've never done cocaine. I have done Adderall, but it was prescribed. Jesus Christ, Mike, what are you doing here? It was prescribed through a doctor. I promise. It was prescribed through a doctor, and I didn't abuse it. God, I sound guilty, but I'm not guilty. That's the truth. Anyways. Digging myself a hole. But like compliments, they reignite the fire in me. And it sucks. Like I don't want to admit that, but it does. Like if someone tells me I'm doing well at something, I thrive off of that. And it's such a childlike personality trait that I have. But I think it's okay to have that, right? I think it's totally okay to have that inside of your psyche. But I think it's also important to admit that you have that. But that's kind of how I function because I don't ever self-compliment. I only self-criticize. And if you only self-criticize without having any outside sources to compliment you, you're going to go down a dark path. And I think a lot of issues that people have growing up, a lot of mental issues, a lot of physical issues, a lot of emotional instability is because of that. I think a lot of people are default self-critiquers, which is good. It's a good thing to be a self-critiquer because it keeps you in check, right? It keeps your ego in check, and your ego will swallow you up, it spit you out, and then when you think you're escaping it, it will swallow you back up, eat you again, and then spit you back out, and then it will swallow you up again, and it will eat you and spit you back out, and then one day it might swallow you up, and it may not ever let you go. Like that's the thing with ego. You just never know. You're playing with fire. And I think a lot of people suffer from, what was I talking about? Whatever, we're just going to continue with this. I think a lot of people struggle with that. I think a lot of people struggle with that idea of the not being able to compliment themselves because there's the other extreme of somebody who's super self-critical. You have the people who are not self-critical at all, up to the point where they're borderline sociopathic. And you can see these people, and they're very much. And the issue with these people is these are the people that usually end up your boss, like not like your boss, but like the CEO of companies. These are the people that end up being the Adolf Hitlers of the world. I'm not saying all of them. I mean, I'm making very broad generalizations here, but I'm just saying like a lot of people who don't feel any type of self-criticism, and they just constantly rave about their own personal achievements. It becomes an unhealthy balance, but it can also lead to so much success, and then that's when the danger sets in. I watched a few documentaries this weekend, and I want to go back to what I said before about me complimenting myself. I don't do that a lot. So what I like to do, and when I do compliment myself, it's usually about my body, which is not good because I do have, I do have an eating disorder. I would say I do have binging of some sort. I don't know exactly the medical term. I've never been diagnosed, but there's enough. I've ran into enough people that are jaw dropped when they see me eating. Like there's enough people. Like there's been times where I'm eating, and when I'm eating, I don't hear anything. I'm just eating. Like I'm just crushing the food. It's like a goal for me to finish it all. And I know that's an issue when I stop eating and I look around. I go get like a drink of my water or something, and I look around and everyone's like, just Like slowly eating. Sorry, that was probably disgusting in your ear. But just slowly eating, enjoying their food, maybe putting the fork down, and then looking at me. And I'm just going in like a crazy, like a bat out of hell. Like just crushing food. So I definitely do have like some sort of binging thing. And I don't know if it's like an emotional thing. I'm not like too sure. I'm not a psychiatrist or a psychologist. Psychiatrist or psychologist. Psychiatrists, I think they prescribe you medication. Psychologist, I don't know. I don't think so. I should look that up. Difference between I think psychiatrists prescribe medication. Because psychiatrists are trained medical doctors, okay, so they go through med school. They can prescribe medications, and they spend much of their time with patients on medication management and a course of treatment. Psychologists focus extensively on psychotherapy and treating emotional and mental suffering of patients with behavior intervention. Okay, so a psychiatrist is a doctor. They're essentially a doctor. They go to med school. They go through the whole thing. They go through, what's it called? When you get out of med school, you do your internship, your residency. It looks like look that up. Do psychiatrist. Come on, I go back, man. Do residencies. After medical school, they complete a full 4 years of residency. Psychiatrists begin the residency the same way a general practitioner does, with at least a few months spent practicing general medicine. They also get experience in neurology. In subsequent years, they focus on psychiatric medicine. Okay, cool. Well, that's cool. I got my answer. But yeah, binging. So I do binge. I'm definitely a World War 9 binger like Princess Diane. But I was watching a documentary. I've watched a lot of documentaries this weekend. This weekend I worked from 7 a.m. to 1 Saturday and Sunday. Taylor was off work Thursday and Friday. Thursday was due to the snow. Friday was due to the ice from the snow on Thursday. So we watched a lot of documentaries. We watched the Free Britney one, which I probably won't get into this episode, and I got to be a little careful with that one. God, I watched a lot of stuff. I'm just gonna read you guys what I have listed since Thursday on like my notes section on what I want to talk about for the podcast. Britney Spears doc, Night Stalker doc, Pixar documentary, Nita Knows Spanish, Crystalia and Morgan Wallen, Make Sex Addiction, Reality Struggle, Why I Wore Socks at the Restaurants to Stand Out, Being Judged for Being Gay but Not Actually Gay, Mars Video Sounds, Twitter, COVID Cases, Mysterious, talk about Jim Watkins, founder of QAnon, explain why Adblocker comes on for website, actors related to the Windsors, make fun of Call Me By Your Name. Call Me By Your Name. What is Call Me By Your Name? Poor Taylor. Oh yeah. Okay. Well. Okay. Yeah. Okay. A lot of people. I probably just lost a lot of listeners. But no, I'm not like making fun of that they were gay. I was gonna make fun of the age discrepancy and Army Hammer's in it. And anyways, obesity for vaccine is supporting you to stay fat. The Woody Allen documentary, which I think is coming out Monday yesterday. I think it came out yesterday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Do women use 3-in-1 cleaner? Talk about Trump. Media loves him. Heroin issues in America. WV documentary supporting West Virginia. 69 fight riffraff. So that's a weekend with me. That's a weekend in my head right there. If you guys ever wanted to, I mean, you wouldn't wonder at all, right? No one care. Like, why would you care? But that's what I go through. And then this also spirals through my girlfriend. And so when people are like, she has to put up with me. And she also has to she also has to deal with her things going on. And she has to put up with that. Crystalia, Why I Wore Socks at the Restaurant, make fun of a movie with gay people in it, obesity for vaccines. Like, you got to understand, like, this is what happens to me. I don't want anyone to feel bad, but like this is what she puts up with. on a daily basis, mind you. This is all the time. This doesn't stop. Like I kind of took a break from the list for a while. But yeah, so I've been running again. And it feels great. It feels so good. I love it. So like Monday I ran 7 miles. I'm recording this on Monday, so you guys are watching on Tuesday. So when I said yesterday, I meant Monday. Monday I ran 7 miles, which is technically today on the day I'm recording this. So if I say now today I ran so-and-so, I don't know how long I ran because today is in the future from my today currently. So I can't really say anything. I probably run 5 miles, maybe. I don't know. Tuesdays are usually slower, or Tuesdays I have a tighter schedule. But I digress again. Sorry. And I haven't ran outside for a solid month. I don't think I've ran outside the entire month of February. Let me see. So I'm going to look up my map, my run. So let's just break it down a little bit. So let's go back to December. Okay. So let's go back to December where I was running a lot. Let me pull this up. That's January. Okay, so let me go to the first week of December. So this is November 29th to December 5th. I ran 46 miles. 6th to the 12th, I ran 57 miles. I think that was my most miles I ran. I ran 56.7 miles the 13th to the 19th. The 20th to the 26th, I ran 47 miles. And then the 27th to the 2nd, I ran 51.67 miles. January, I ran 36 first week, 28 the second week, 38 the third week, which I actually ran a 15-minute. That was like my longest run of all time. And then the last week I ran the 24th to 30th, I ran 27 miles. And then February comes around and it's cold outside. And so I kind of stopped running outside. I mainly just ran inside. I went from running like 5 miles like 7 miles a month. What is that? 7 miles? Oh my God. I was running about 7.5 on average hours a week in December. That's insane. 7.5, 14, 28. Oh my God, I ran like 30 hours in the month of December, which is like a day and a quarter. I spent an entire day in December just running. It's nuts. And then the first week of February, I ran 20 miles. Second week, 20 miles. Third week, 14. This week, 9. So it's been a dramatic decrease. 2 hours compared to 7.5 hours a week running. And I've been running only on the treadmill because it's cold. It's getting really cold outside. It's kind of ridiculous at this point. And I guess I can't really complain because places like good old Texas is completely freezing. Those places are completely falling apart. Looks like it's rebounding now. The other thing that's happening, which is mind-boggling to see, is to see how quickly COVID is just dispersing from around us. I think it's a combination of the vaccine. I think it's a combination of Biden winning, and I don't mean that like a conspiracy way. I just mean that as him being president, I think it did speed up the COVID thing. Like, say what you want about Biden compared to Trump, but Biden seems much more supportive of using science to get rid of coronavirus, whereas I don't think Donald Trump really cared to. It didn't seem like it cracked his top 3 things to care about. The viruses didn't seem to be up there. And I think Biden has really sped up the process of supplying the country with the money to distribute, ship, buy vaccines. I think we're on track for like 300 million vaccines. So it seems like it's slowly going away. And I think there was a guy from Johns Hopkins who even said that by April we should reach herd immunity. I just want to make sure that's right. So YouTube, don't flag me. John Hopkins. I guess I could just Google that and it should be right up there. Yeah, Professor. Okay, here it is. Where's his name? Insider's probably going to make me pay to see their news. Which, by the way, guys, Twitter, like Twitter kind of has you don't need to pay for Twitter. Dr. Markin Makari, a professor of surgery at the Johns Hopkins School of Medicine, suggested in the Wall Street Journal that the most likely explanation for this decline is that the U.S. could be close to reaching herd immunity. In a Thursday op-ed, Markay predicted that COVID-19 would be mostly gone by April. He wrote that infections have likely been far more widespread than data suggest, so much so, in fact, that the U.S. will soon hit a threshold beyond which the virus won't be able to pass easily from person to person. That's so exciting, man. That's so exciting. Good God, if it stops before April, like I'm genuinely like haven't processed this. If this stops by April, man, oh my God. July 4th is going to be so much fun. Just have barbecues and like hug people. I can't wait to hug my friends again and hug people and give people handshakes and like see people's mouths. And I mean that in like the most non-creepy way. To see people's mouths, to see their noses, to see their cheeks, to see them smile, to see them frown, like to see people's faces turn red. Like I cannot wait to see people's human emotions again. It's weird, man. There's been where I work at a gym, and I've signed people up, and we've had new members coming in all during the lockdown because gyms have legally been allowed open in Maryland for a while. I think like June. Since like June, we've been allowed to be open. I think like June 16th, which is kind of awesome. That was only like 3 months of shutdown. But there's been so many people coming in, and we didn't have to wear a mask up until like August, September. The whole year kind of just blurs by, but we didn't have to wear a mask for a long time. So I knew what those people look like. But then right after we had gyms are required to have everyone wear a mask, even on cardio. Then people started signing up more because people felt safe. And what ended up happening is there's people that I've said hi to. I've had, 30, 40, 50-minute conversations with, and I've never once seen their face. I've never once actually seen their mouth. And it makes me sound like such a creep, but like I've never once seen their face, their nose, their cheeks, their smile, their frowning, their judgment face. I've never seen any of that. And for someone like me, I love that. Like I love humans. Like I'm a human lover. I love people. I love culture. I love a lot of cultures. I love learning things. And it's just so exciting to think that maybe by May we can open up the world again. And like I hear people saying all this crazy stuff like, "Whoa, masks are never gonna go away. Masks will never go away." Cool. Who cares? As long as legally we're not forced to wear a mask, which they won't do because they can't do, I don't care if people wear a mask. Who cares? I won't be wearing a mask. But I have been thinking about it. I think I will wear a mask if I'm sick. Duh. Like, it's kind of a crazy thing to think that we used to, if you just, literally, if you rewind a year ago on this day, it's February 23rd. You guys are watching this. For me, it's February 22nd. I'm recording this. We in America and maybe not Europe because I think Italy didn't get crushed until like March. Maybe they were getting crushed around this time. I don't know. Let me see. COVID. But shout out to you, Dr. Martin McCary. COVID cases. Italy. Yeah, so they hit March. Oh my God, dude, it's crazy. March 26th, the peak for them was 6,200 new cases. And then back in November 16th, 27,000 new cases. That's crazy to see, like, just how we have adapted so quickly to it. Like, back in March, 6 times 5 is 30. That's about 500% more cases. Like 8 months later. just about. Maybe 400. 6, 12, 24. About 450% increase of cases in. And it's just, and I think the beginning of this was such chaos because nobody knew, like, we just didn't have any structures in place. But it's crazy to think that Americans used to, like, make fun of the Western world, or the Eastern world for wearing a mask when they're out in public. And we used to always say things like, I used to say things, not on the podcast, but like in my own brain, I used to tell myself, well, it's for pollution. But it's because they don't want to get other people sick. And look, as long as we don't have to forcibly wear a mask, which they can't do, like I said, maybe they can, but I don't think they could. I don't know I don't know the legal grounds to force people to wear a mask if there's no reason to wear a mask. Especially if the vaccine's out, which it will be. I think every year there's going to be the COVID vaccine. And, but I think people are going to continue to wear the mask, especially older people. And why not? Let them wear the mask. I just hope there's not like a divide with this mask that continues. Like, wear the mask if you want to wear the mask. And if someone wears a mask, if anything, you should be thankful that they're wearing a mask because they're not your chances of getting sick are decreased. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. The only reason why you wouldn't want people to wear a mask is because you've literally colluded your political views with a mask, with a piece of cloth that goes over someone's face. And in that case, I think maybe you should reconsider what you believe in. Also, I think, and I'm going to give my opinion here, I'm going to be aggressive. I also think that, what was I going to say? Oh yeah. I don't think the mask is the beginning of us losing rights. Like, I don't think, like, I remember back when everything was happening, people were like, it's the mask, and then it's the guns, and then it's this, and then it's that. It's not that. It's like not that. It's like if you go to the doctor, you break your leg, they tell you, hey, we're gonna give you a boot, and then we're gonna give you crutches, and you're gonna wear this for 2 weeks. But in this case, you're gonna wear it for a year. And the reason why you're doing it is so you don't get sick. Like, the reason why you're doing it is so you don't get sick. Because we don't want you to get sick. Or we don't want you to break your leg again. That's why we're doing it. We're not doing it because we're trying to take away your rights. We're doing it strictly for, like, we're looking out for you. My laptop shut off again. That's awesome. I love when my laptop shuts off. That's great. Especially in the middle of school when I actually need it. I don't think, oh crap, I actually just completely lost my train of thought. Damn it, because my laptop shut off. I feel so dumb. Why does this happen? Okay, it's back on. I don't know why it does that. Is it because it's overheated? I need to eventually get a new laptop. But yeah, dude, July 4th, we might be able to go out and eat hot dogs and have a burger and have a beer. Dude, I haven't had alcohol in so long. I've been like kind of wanting some alcohol. Like, I've been wanting like a margarita, even though it's like 4 degrees outside. But I don't know, man. I don't know. Well, I feel like I covered a lot of weird, random things. Every time I go and I look for a title of my episode, or I look for like a title or a description, the worst thing about being a creator, I guess, that sounds disgusting. It's like when I touch this thing, it like does something. I think like the worst thing about being like a creator or like being somebody who makes, definitely not going to say art, but talks for a living, maybe not, definitely not a living, but like talks and puts it out on the internet. The hardest thing for someone like that, like me, is to listen to it, because first of all, I don't want to hear my voice. Second off, I don't want to hear what I said because I'm already thinking what I said. So I don't want to hear what I thought and then what I said. Right? Because what if I don't like what I said? Then I might be like, oh, can't put that out there. But that's not what I want to do with the podcast. I like that I just say things like, because that's real, maybe. I feel like that's what makes this podcast unique. Like, I think here's my podcast. This is what my podcast is. It is a show where the host has a lot of thoughts throughout the week, and the host, me, was in therapy and realized what helped me the most in therapy was just talking about my thoughts and about things that came to my head to somebody else. That person said things to me, but that wasn't the thing that helped me get through my ideas. What helped me was just saying them, literally decluttering my mind. And when I decluttered my mind, I felt better. And that's what my show is. So what comes along with that is things that don't make sense, things that I say that might rub somebody the wrong way, news that might be decades old, but it just comes in my head, phrases that I don't know where they come from. That's kind of what that's exactly what my show is. It's just that. It's just chaos. It's literally me in the form of sound waves. Like, that's what I think it is. And that's what I love about it. And I think that's what people like about it. I think that's why it does have a following. I think that's why it gets thousands of downloads a month, because it's so authentic to the point where there's a lot of people who it might be so authentic they're like, I don't like it because it sounds a lot like just unorganized, but I think that's what it was supposed to be. I think that's what I wanted it to be, and I don't want to go away from that. That's what I like doing. I mean, I was talking to my buddy, and I sent him a YouTube podcast from one of my favorite podcasters. I'm not going to say his name or the podcaster's name, but he's one of my favorite podcasters. He's an intellectual person. I guess he's not a professor, but he's like an adjunct teacher at an Ivy League school, and he is one of my favorite podcasters. He's kind of like the Joe Rogan of YouTube, and the reason why I say this is because Rogan's not on YouTube anymore, but he kind of like parked his car in the Joe Rogan YouTube spot. And he's huge, and he has very smart people on. He has scientists on. He has chemists on, which is a scientist. He has rocket engineers on. He has economists on. He had I think his name is Vlad, the guy who created Ethereum, on. He had a lot of famous people on. And I'm gonna go back and re-listen to that podcast with Vlad, because with everything going on in Bitcoin, God, that's what I wanted to get into. I gotta write that down because I didn't even get into it, and I'm not gonna have time to get into it. See, oh wait, I just have the notes right here. I need to pull this back up. Jesus Christ, this is an issue. Bitcoin volatility. That's not how you spell it. Whatever, that's close enough. I just needed to like see it and be like, oh, that's what I meant. And I always spell Spanish wrong. I spell it like Spaini, like Spanish. What was I talking about? Crap. Oh no, what was I talking about? I feel like I was making a good point. Oh, help me. Come on, brain. Kick into gear for me. And I sent it to him, and he was like, great podcast, but the background's trash. And I'm like, and in my head, I kind of like it because it's so dull. And I think like him, I think it represents him really well. And I don't really listen to him on YouTube as much as I used to, so maybe I don't really notice it. And I think I've also been listening to him for like 2 years, 3 years. And up until like the last 6 months, he finally has a studio. Before that, he didn't have a studio. Before that, he'd travel with people, and he would do shows. He'd do a podcast, and since he traveled, there would be different backgrounds in every episode. And my friend was like, "Your background represents you," and I was like, "That's true. That's what I like about my podcast is it does represent me. Like this is me." Like, I have a chicken here because I love the movie Moana. I have candles because they make me happy. I love fire. I have this thing that my sister got me, or they got for Taylor, but I stole it, or maybe my mom did. It says my brain has too many tabs open. Like, this is me. Like, I have Christmas lights. I have a brain because I love a brain. I love my brain. I don't love other brains because I'm not that guy who ate brains. What's his name? Jeffrey Dahmer. I'm not Jeffrey Dahmer. I just like my own brain. My brain's cool. I think my brain's nice. I have a good brain. I think I have my favorite brain I've ever had. I have books that I love. I have a little miniature brain up here, which you can't see because I've zoomed in the show so you can see more of my face. But that's what I love about my show. It's me. And if you don't like me, I think it allows you to maybe explore with me. Maybe you don't have to like me to like the podcast. I think you can explore with me. I think we can ride the wave together and we can surf different ideas. And, maybe that will help us. Maybe that will make us better people. Maybe surfing ideas with someone else's world could help us understand each other better. Maybe that could be a solution to a lot of things. One of my favorite things to do is listen to people talk. I love talking to people. I love pinning hard questions against people too. I love asking people things that make them uncomfortable and make them really think and make them go like, I've never thought about that. That's one of my favorite things to do. Is I love provoking the saying, I've never thought about that. I love doing that because you can literally see someone's brain going like, whoa, that's so fascinating. And you feel like you're doing good for the world. So I think with my show, it provides a place where, yeah, you may not agree with everything I say. Yeah, you may not even agree with one thing I say. Or, maybe you like everything I say. Maybe you don't like me as a person. Maybe you do like me as a person. Maybe I come off to you as a cocky son of a gun. And maybe you think I'm all about me and I don't like the world and I'm just like, you have a podcast, like you think you're something special, you're not special. I don't think I'm special. I do like the podcast, but maybe you do think all those things about me, these negative things, these good things about me. Maybe you think I'm a narcissist, but I think what I love most about this show is you can do all that with me. You can have all those thoughts about me, and that's fine. Like that, you got to understand that doesn't affect me because thoughts are just everything that you've ever experienced accumulated to one thing, right? That's what a thought is. That's why I don't think thoughts are concrete. That's why I think they're like a nebulous, they're like a web. They shoot off everywhere. Everywhere. Thoughts are everything, and they change. And when they change, you ride the wave. And if my podcast provides a wave that like you're in the ocean, the Pacific, in California doing your California thing, and you're looking around for a wave, and you're like, I don't like that one. I don't like that one. I don't think I like that one, but I've never seen a wave like that. Let's get on that wave and see where it takes me. And then when you're done with the ride, you're like, that was my favorite ride ever. Maybe my show can do that for you. It does it for me. I feel like I'm smarter because of the show. I feel like I'm more of a loving and caring person because of the show. I feel like it has helped me so much with if I'm in class and we have to talk to people, I'm like, yep, I got it. Because I talk to thousands of people a month from all over the world, from Russia to China, not China. They're not allowed to listen to YouTube there or my podcast. But like Africa, like Ghana, like the continent of Africa, I have people in Ghana, South Africa, like Middle East, like everywhere, the United Kingdom, California, Canada, Argentina, Venezuela. Like I feel like people are riding the wave, and I like the wave because I like to surf other people's waves. We should all surf people's waves and spend a little bit less time on our own wave. I love you guys. Thank you so much for listening. This was episode 169 of the Michael Lab Show. Go out there, surf a new wave. I love you. I'll catch you guys in episode 170. Peace out. See ya. Have a good Wednesday and Tuesday. I'll see you on Thursday.